two existential issues for Pakistan, and I've said that, I will continue to say that in all forums. One is population, the other is climate. So while we had talked about the structural reforms and the homegrown economic agenda, and of course the 5 Ps sort of covers that under Iran, Pakistan, but unless we deal with these two existential issues, the sustainable and inclusive growth for Pakistan is going to remain elusive. We are still growing at the rate that we are growing, और उसके basis पे जो दो बड़े issues हैं from the population perspective, child stunting. Any country which has children under the age of 5, unfortunately 40% of them suffering from child stunting, and then learning poverty, which is essentially girls out of school. Then in terms of climate, both in terms of resiliency and decarbonization. And that's where we are very grateful to the 10-year country partnership framework that we have just signed with the World Bank, because इस दफ़ा हमने 6 issues पे focus किया है in this 10-year partnership framework. 4 of those are dealing with population and climate. 2 dealing with fiscal and the private investment side. So I think it's important that we work with our partners, both in terms of financing, but more importantly, capacity building. Now, where do we go from here? And when you get into a bit of a stabilization phase, and we have seen it over the last few decades, and also in the last few years, there's almost a sugar rush. Let's put the foot on the pedal and let's go for it. And I think it's not only the academics, but also the business community, which is cautioning the government in terms of making sure that this time around, when we go for growth, it's sustainable. Because these boom and bust cycles we have seen forever, and it's very easy to get into that trap again and say, let's go for it. And that's where we get into trouble. The imports go haywire, we run out of dollars, we get into a balance of payment problem, and we go running back to the lender of the last resort. So ये जो movie है हम ये पहले देख चुके हैं, stabilization वाली. So while I'm very grateful for all the support that we have received, but this time around this opportunity has to be used very judiciously कि हम इसको आगे कैसे लेके चलें. उसमें जो main चीज़ है in terms of road back to the market, where we say this is going to be the last IMF program, there it has to be export-led growth. We have to fundamentally change the DNA of the economy. And the export-led growth is not only through textiles. It's a fantastic sector. We will continue to help, support, assist that sector. वहाँ value addition भी हो रही है. जो home textiles is doing extremely well, etc. And should it move from 18 to 24 billion, absolutely, and we will be there to help and support that. इसी तरह IT and IT services में जो growth आई है, I think is a very welcome change. Hopefully, the agriculture part will also continue as we move forward in the growth trajectory. But that is not going to be the answer. Every single sector in this country has to contribute to export. Period. And the spectrum can be from 1% to 100%. Because जो मैंने पहले बात की है और उसी को मैं लिंक कर रहा हूँ जो emerging markets finance ministers की जो बात है, productivity-led growth. Productivity means that we have to be internationally competitive. और उसमें हम आपकी support करेंगे, help करेंगे. The industry is there. Of course, we are on the right side of the rate cycle now. Taxation and energy are still elements where we need to support and help you as industry as we go forward. But every single sector, किसी के पास ये गुंजाइश अब ये नहीं होगी कि आप सिर्फ जो है local segments को और local society को, of course, we are 250 million people and therefore it's a very large market. But every single sector has to contribute to the export equation. इसी तरह जो FDI है, and I start with the local investors, local investment आएगी तो FDI आएगी. I'm very clear about that. So again, we have to focus on those investments which lead us to exportable surplus.